Hi, this is Hannah with the Montessori Makers podcast. This week we're going to talk a little bit about Montessori matchmaking and what it means to find people that are a good fit for your organization. And one of the interesting pieces is that it works both ways. Not only does a school or organization want to find the right person to match who they are and be a great fit for the community, but the individual who's looking also wants to find a good match in the place that they are going to be. So I want to go through some of the ways that we should do this and what we should be looking for when we are trying to find that perfect match. And I'd like to start with a story actually. So at Montessori Makers, we weekly have a Montessori online gathering. And this is free for people to attend. Anyone can come. We gather for an hour and we talk about some of the things that are pertinent to our life and our organization within the Montessori world. And most recently, we've been covering the topic of hope, talking about how we instill hope, how we support children and families, particularly as so many things are changing in our society. And I was privy to a really interesting piece of information that came up during one of these talks. And first of all, I'm a firm believer that we keep anonymity, but we can share the learning when we are in spaces and we are discussing. So I would like to share some of the learning here today. So I was talking to an individual and learning about their story, and one of the things that they shared about their journey within the Montessori sphere is that they are at a place right now that they love, and things hadn't always been that way for them. They had once before been in another space that didn't feel as much like it was a good match for them. They had entered the space and begun working there thinking that all Montessori spaces are the same because we follow the same philosophy. We are interested in the learning and the work from Maria Montessori herself. And if you go to most any Montessori program around the world, you will see similar materials, similar structures, like mixed age groupings. You will see the hands-on materials. You will see lots of natural things like wood and glass. And so I think that for some people, it is just assumed that a Montessori space is a Montessori space is a Montessori space. And this person's case in particular was a really good example of how that's really just not true. While we do all stand on the same foundation of Montessori, every school and organization really has its own personality and its own interests and drives and mission and vision. And finding people who align with the same ideals is a really important part of creating strong community. And when you have strong community, that's what you want in order to make sure that children feel safe, that families feel safe, and that your program continues to thrive. Now, the space that was not a good fit wasn't known to this person when they were embarking on that journey. But the space that they are in now is a space that they spoke about very highly. They spoke about how their values really aligned with all of those folks in their community, other colleagues and families alike. They spoke about how some of the things that they do really give them life, so to speak, and they feel very proud to be able to say that they are a part of this organization. And those feelings really can make all of the difference. So in Montessori Makers, we support schools and organizations with Montessori matchmaking, both for individuals in teaching roles, Montessori roles, as well as co-curricular. We also support with executive matchmaking. And in both cases, it is really, really important to make sure that we are finding folks that are value aligned. So one of the things that we do is we work really closely with schools to learn the ins and the outs of everything that's going on. So for example, we work very closely with curating job descriptions, so it speaks to exactly who the school is. And someone might say, like, anybody can create a job description. That is true. And think about all the times that you may have read a job description, and when you got to learn more about the organization, you might have found like, ooh, I don't know if this was exactly what I was thinking it would be. So we really try to do a good job of painting the picture of some information about what the school is, their character, their values when we are pushing that information out. We have some templates that we work from. We also work with schools' original property that they create. And then once we push out ads, it's really important for us to do a deep dive with the organization. And we look at things like observable values that you find within the school. We look at things like, what is the makeup of the school? What are all the programs? What does it feel like to be a colleague within the school, a faculty or staff member? What does it feel like to be a parent? What does it feel like to be a child within that space? What are the things that we can walk away with that are tangible ideas of the experiences of others within that space? That really helps to figure out where the matches will lie. What is it the school is seeking, and what are the places that the person who is looking for, where are the places that they can fit into and really find a connection to in order to ensure a good match. Now, we do a really, really robust screening and interview process. Our organization is built upon the idea that when you've been in the field for almost a quarter century at this point and have worked with public and private institutions and small and large scale organizations, and working with all kinds of age levels of children, all different levels of administration, there are a lot of places that work together to create a community, and a community really becomes its own entity, its own organization that is very different from any other community. And one of the things we know about community is that particularly in times of hardship and times of challenge, it is our communities that we turn to in order to support us through those things. Like if we think back to COVID and how much everyone felt so unsettled when everything changed in kind of a moment's notice. Like there was a buildup for a few months about this thing that was coming that we should be worried about, just enough to get everybody's anxiety through the roof. But then I think it was mid-March in 2020, when everybody got the word that schools were shutting down, it was happening to everyone. There was no savior, so to speak, that was going to fix everything and figure it out. Everyone worked in communities to continue schools moving along, to create platforms and curricula that would work online, which is, we all know, is particularly challenging with Montessori. We created drives in order to get laptops to children and materials in their hands, and people helped organize ways to get food to folks and kept in connection with others that they knew. And so community, we really saw in real time the ways that those with whom you spend your time really become those that are the rock when you need them. And in this world, which is very different from the one that many of us as adults grew up in, it is a world where people don't spend as much time in different organizations as they used to, such as churches or community orgs. People do not spend as much time with extended family. People often move away from families these days. And even if you have children, your community becomes those that you see and work with and are in community with every day. So in this idea of finding the perfect match, finding people who have shared values, knowing that these people are going to be the folks that are there for you is really, really important. And even more important than this is making sure that everyone is sharing the same values and message around the ways that we uplift and support and honor children, right? You want to find people who view how to run classrooms in the same way. You want to find people who can stop when a child is having a hard time and respond in a way that aligns with the way that you do. You want to find folks who really see the benefits of this system, even when it has its challenges, because we are all humans and children are children and changes happen. And as children are going through development, there will be times when things are not going as swimmingly as we would want them to. And furthermore, even when we're thinking about the adult-centered roles, you want to find people who share the vision for what your organization is to become. If your organization is really interested in sustainable efforts, you want to find people who are willing to talk about that work, to invest their time in that work. If you are really interested in furthering your identity as an A-bar school, you want people who are willing to take A-bar training, who understand the values, who are open to having conversations about it, and who are curating spaces within the building that are feeling safe for folks in a variety of ways. If you want to grow, you want to find folks who are invested in growing, people who are interested in innovation, in creation, in new things. And this might seem like something that is, easily understood or known, but humans are very different. We all come from different parts of the country, different parts of the world. We all have different experiences. We come together with different values and different interests. And so really working on finding those that are in alignment is so, so important to creating that strong community. So I really hope that as we are moving into the season where schools and organizations are looking for finding the people that are going to be great fits. We are learning which people are going to be returning next year, which people who are deciding to move on, and finding that next person or a new role, a new person is really, really important to find the right person. Montessori and its philosophy doesn't lend itself very well to spaces that just hold warm bodies. Montessori really needs to be a space where the community is thoughtfully brought together, thoughtfully honored, and respected, because so much depends on who the adults are, how the adults see the world, and the ways in which they respond to children. And so creating a space with the right people, finding that perfect match is of one of the utmost importance of what we're doing here together. So, as always, if you have any thoughts or any questions you'd like to share about anything, if you would like to talk, please reach out. Our email address is info@montessorimakers.org. You can visit our website at www.montessorimakers.org. We have this podcast. We have Montessori online gatherings. They're free. Please feel free to come join us. Please peruse our website. We offer professional development. We offer coaching. We offer project management. And we'd like to share information about all things Montessori. We think of ourselves in a lot of ways around the back of the house preparation for Montessori, right? We have the guides, we have the classrooms, we have the lessons, we have the materials, and there's so much more surround in what makes Montessori work well, and a lot of that has to do with the preparation of the adult. So we focus very much on the ways that we can prepare the adult. So please come see us. Thank you for joining us. This has been another episode of Montessori Makers Podcast, our Montessori musings. We hope to see you again. Have a great day.